Hello friends, in this video we will know about the osteology of lumbar vertebra. So this is the lumbar vertebra. In our body total there are 5 lumbar vertebra are there. Out of 5, the first 4 are typical lumbar vertebra and the 5th lumbar vertebra which is atypical. This is the 5th lumbar vertebra. Now we'll see the general features of the lumbar vertebra. So this is the lumbar vertebra. It is having a body. This entire part is the vertebral arch, anteriorly having body, posteriorly vertebral arch. We see the parts of the vertebral arch. It is formed by the pedicles and lamina, superior and inferior articular facets. Lamina fuse it to form spine, and these are the transverse process. All parts together to form a vertebral arch. If we compare this lumbar vertebra with the cervical vertebra, for the cervical vertebra in the transverse process it is having a foramen transversarium, and the vertebral foramen of the cervical vertebra it is more than the lumbar vertebra. And if we compare with the thoracic vertebra, the body of the thoracic it is heart shaped, and on either side of the body of thoracic vertebra you can see the demifacets. And the vertebral foramen of the thoracic vertebra it is smaller than the lumbar vertebra. Now we can see the general features of typical lumbar vertebra. So this is the typical lumbar vertebra. It is having a body. This body it is reniform and massive in shape, and this body it is extended more transversely than the anteriorly. So the transverse diameter of this body is comparatively more than the anteroposterior diameter, and you can see the anterior and the side constrictions. You see the body of lumbar vertebra, you can see anterior and the side constrictions for the body. The superior surface of this body will make a relation with the intervertebral disc. If you see this body, the anterior half of the body it is greater than the posterior half. So this is the body. If you see this body from the side, you can observe this is the anterior half of the body and this is the posterior half. This anterior half it is slightly greater than the posterior half. By this it can contribute for the formation of ventral convexity of the spine. And if we observe here, these are the pedicles. These pedicles they attach it to the upper half of the body than the lower half. By that you can see a deep inferior vertebral notch and shallow superior vertebral notch. The upper and lower margins of the body they give an attachment to the anterior longitudinal ligament, whereas on the posterior aspect of the body, on its margins, upper and lower margin, it gives an attachment to the posterior longitudinal ligament, and on its superior surface it is related with the intervertebral disc. So here on the anterior aspect you can see the anterior longitudinal ligament. On either side of the anterior longitudinal ligament, on the right side, this upper margin and the lower margin they give an attachment to the right crest of diaphragm from L1 to L3, whereas on the left side the upper margin and the lower margins of the body they give an attachment to L1 and L2. They give an attachment to left crest of diaphragm up to L2 vertebra. On the right side up to L3, on the left side up to L2. So lateral to the crest of diaphragm, here the upper and lower margins they give an attachment to the psoas major muscle, slips of fibrofleshy slips of psoas major muscle. So in between these slips there are the tendinous gaps. So through the tendinous gaps there is a passage of gray rami communicants. So these are the attachments of the body. Now we'll go for the pedicles. Posterior to the body you can see a short broad pedicles which are directed posteriorly, and they attach it to the upper half of the body rather than the lower half. By that you can see the deep vertebral notch, inferior vertebral notch. These are the superior articular facets and these are the inferior articular facets. The superior articular facets they directed posteriorly and medially, backwards and medially, and these facets they are concave, whereas the inferior articular facets they directed forwards and laterally. These are convex facets. These are concave and these are convex facets which are directed forwards and laterally. These are directed backwards and medially, and these are the thin transverse process. They are tapered. These are the thin transverse process which are tapered and they directed posteriorly and laterally. From L1, if you see the transverse process for from L1 to L3 there is an increase in size, whereas for the L4 and L5 there is the decrease in size of transverse process you can observe. And these are the lamina, which are short broad plates. They fused in its middle. These are the short broad plates which are directed posteriorly and the medially, known as lamina. These lamina, they join in its midline to form a spine. And this is the spine, which is a club shaped quadrilateral, and it is having a posterior border, well defined posterior border and the inferior border. This is the transverse process. The transverse process of the vertebra, they contribute for the formation of the ribs, except in thoracic vertebra. For the rest of the vertebra, this transverse process, they are well defined to form the specified structures. So this is not an actual transverse process. The actual transverse process of the lumbar vertebra, it is on the posterior surface of the transverse process, on its medial aspect you can see a tubercle. So this is known as accessory process. Whereas on the posterior border of the superior articular facets, you can see a process that is known as a mammillary process. And for the transverse process, on its posteromedial aspect, you can see a actual transverse process that is known as an accessory process. And on the anterior surface of the transverse process, you can see a faint ridge here. So the anterior surface of the transverse process, in front of the faint ridge, it gives an attachment to the psoas major muscle. Along with the attachment from the upper and lower margins of the body, the psoas major, it also gains attachment from the anterior surface of the transverse process, which is medial to the oblique groove on the transverse process. Whereas the surface which is lateral to this faint ridge, it gives an attachment to the quadratus lumborum muscle, and this faint ridge, it gives an attachment to the anterior layer of thoracolumbar fascia. Whereas from the tip of the transverse process, it gives an attachment to the middle layer of the thoracolumbar fascia. So here there is a quadratus lumborum muscle. It is enclosed by the anterior layer of the thoracolumbar fascia and the middle layer of the thoracolumbar fascia. So this quadratus lumborum, it is enclosed in a thoracolumbar fascia. And all the lamina of all vertebra, they give an attachment to the ligamentum flava. And if you see on the posterior surface of the transverse process, it gives an attachment to the erector spinae and multifidus muscle. This part, entire part, the posterior surface of the lamina, this posterior surface of the lamina, it gives an attachment to the, whereas the posterior surface of the transverse process and the posterior surface of the lamina, they gives attachment to the multifidus, which is overlapped by the erector spinae muscle. And here from the tip of the spine, it gives an attachment to the posterior layer of the thoracolumbar fascia, which encloses the multifidus and erector spinae muscle. Here there is a multifidus and erector spinae muscle. They are enclosed by the posterior layer of thoracolumbar fascia. It is attached at the tip of the spinous process and the tip of the transverse process. Here there will be the posterior layer of the thoracolumbar fascia. And this is the spine, which is clap shaped and quadrilateral, and it is having a prominent posterior border and the inferior border. On its posterior border, you can see this spine. It gives an attachment to the supraspinous ligament. For example, see from this is the L5 vertebra. Here you can observe the overlapping between the lamina. It is minimum. So if we keep the vertebra one above the other, here you can observe the overlapping between the lamina, it is minimum in the lumbar vertebra rather than the thoracic vertebra. There the overlapping of the lamina, it is more. And from L1 to L4, the spine is club shaped and quadrilateral, whereas for the L5, there is a decrease in the size of the spine. And between the spines, you can see the interspinous ligaments. Here, this is the spine of L5 vertebra. So between these spines, you can see this gap, it is filled by the interspinous ligament. And here there is a supraspinous ligament. Here this lamina, posterior surface of the lamina, it gives an attachment to the multifidus and erector spinae. They are enclosed in the posterior layer of thoracolumbar fascia, which is attached from the tip of the spinous process to the tip of the transverse process. So this gap, it is filled by the multifidus and the erector spinae. Here from the faint ridge, anterior layer of thoracolumbar fascia, from the tip of the transverse process, middle layer of the thoracolumbar fascia. So this is the anterior layer. My index finger, you can assume like that, and my thumb is the middle layer of the thoracolumbar fascia. In between you can see the quadratus lumborum muscle. So this is the transverse process. Between the transverse process of the above vertebra and the below vertebra, you can see the intertransverse membrane on the medial side, which is cord-like, and it is attached between this accessory process, which represents the actual transverse process of the lumbar vertebra. So from here to the accessory process of the below vertebra, there is an attachment that is nothing but cord-like. This is the intermembranous intertransverse ligament, whereas the lateral part which gains an attachment between the transverse process of this vertebra and the below vertebra, that is the membranous part, and the medial part which is the cord-like. So total it represents the intertransverse ligament. Now we'll see the fifth lumbar vertebra, which is an atypical lumbar vertebra. This is the fifth lumbar vertebra. The specific features are the body, it is more massive and broader than the other vertebra. And see here, these are the transverse process which are pyramidal in shape. They are short, broad transverse process which are pyramidal in shape, and directly they are encroaching to the side of the body. And these are the pedicles, and these are the superior articular facets, and lower these are the inferior articular facets. And this is the lamina and the spine, which is short and rounded. Here you can observe the superior articular facets which are directed posteriorly, and the inferior articular facets they directly faces anteriorly. Here in this vertebra you can observe the superior articular facets and inferior articular facets, they are in the same plane. So if we draw an imaginary line, we'll get a horizontal rectangle for the L5 vertebra. So, and next, if we join the superior and inferior articular facets for the L4 vertebra, you can get a square. For the L3 vertebra, you can get a vertical rectangle. For L1 and L2, if we join the superior and the inferior articular facets, you get a trapezium shape. So these are classified according to the Fawcett's rule. So by applying that Fawcett rule, we can identify the number of vertebra. So for the L5 vertebra, it is a horizontal rectangle. For the L4, it is a square. For L3, it is a vertical rectangle. And for L1 and L2, we'll get a trapezium shape by joining the superior and the inferior articular facets. This L5 vertebra, for this L5 vertebra, the anterior half it is greater than the posterior half. So by presence of this type in this body, it is more contributing for the formation of lumbosacral angle. For the other vertebra also, they are having on its anterior half more greater than the posterior half. For them, they contribute for the formation of ventral convexity of the spine, and this lamina it gives a lower margin of the ligamentum flava, attachment to the lower margin of the ligamentum flava. So these are the general features of the lumbar vertebra. Hope you understood well. Thanks for watching my video.